the last part of the program is just some staff updates. What are we doing? Where are we going? What does the future look like? After this meeting, there's been so many great ideas, so many inspirational speakers, and we have great plans and a great vision and so many interested people in place. So I guess, Beth, if you could come in first and provide an update.
Hey, good morning, everybody. We're almost done, right? Yay! Uh, Staff is saying yay! We're almost done. So just a quick reminder. My name is Beth Foss, and I have served on the board in different capacities. I joined in 2006. I'm a carrier of CHM. My dad is close to 80 and real no vision left, and I have two sons, soon to be 25 and soon to be 30. Ooh. Both with choroideremia. um I'm going to share with you just real quickly about three different areas that I'm in charge of. So I am the director of operations now, serving about 6 hours a week for you. Predominantly, I spend time on the webinars, so you probably have maybe seen some of the webinars that we have done. Thank you for your grace and your sense of humor. Sometimes it just doesn't come out very well. But during COVID, we were trying really hard as a group, trying to serve our members and how we can best meet your needs and the mission of the foundation, which is to provide support and education in addition to finding this treatment, right? Um, so if you have any more ideas, we're going to continue with webinars. We get pretty excited about the science, right? But if you have any suggestions about what science you would like, what more research information that you would like to have, please just email me. It's Beth Foss at Cure CHM, or just, again, as Kathi just mentioned, the prior email address. Um, that would be great. The other thing is number two is the mom support group. I know there have been some moms here. We do meet the last Thursday of every month online, and we had Dr. Gam for Mother's Day in May. He came. So we have researchers, we have different topics, but sometimes we just hang out, and it's just a time to support. Sometimes we have new moms to the group, and then we have oldie classics like myself, trying to just again offer input to those people. So I really encourage you guys to do that. Join us. You don't. It's not. You don't have to come every month, but it's fun. And then lastly, we Kathi asked me just to speak. We are always looking for volunteers, right? So if you have an area that you are passionate about, perhaps you would like to serve on one of the committees. We have a research committee. Nobody's writing this down. All right, we have a research committee. Come on now. Publications and communication, Ed's here and can talk about that if you're interested. An audit committee, that's really exciting. Nominations, fundraising, patient education, international, and conference committees. So you can help plan the next one. We're looking for volunteers. So anything that you would like to become involved with, please, we're always looking for volunteers. Um, and I think that's it. Did I forget anything? All right, we're good. Thanks. Or just see me afterwards.
Thanks. Thanks, Beth. And of course, Eric, outside of his international participation in events, he also does a lot of domestic activities. And so Eric has a few additional updates regarding U.S. other.
Part of the role of our foundation is making sure we get the most bang for our buck. And just as we come together as one powerful voice, and soon I'll start talking in a British accent. But no, we have learned that when we join up with other rare and ultra rare diseases, that we become a very powerful voice. When you get all the rare disease communities together in just the United States, there's 30 million of them. But with choroideremia, we are 6,000 here. So we belong to a number of organizations, Global Genes, which is a very great rare disease group, the National Organization of Rare Disorders, which is based in DC. It deals a lot more with federal regulators and law, but also patient support, and we're very involved with that. And the Haystack Project, which is ultra rare, and that gets into the minutia of how can we get our disease, if there is a treatment, we were hoping to get there with Biogen. We had to be staged and ready to be able to talk to regulators and insurers. And to do that, we need to let people know what it means to be a patient with choroideremia or a family with choroideremia. So there's a means of measurement that is growing in need, and it's called patient oriented value. And this POV is in its final draft by the Haystack Project. And once it comes out and I can publish it, we will make it known to you as a patient community. But there's a lot that we can do. There's been a lot of discussion about the Biogen data. And I want to say that here in the United States, the FDA made a very, very large grant because they understood the power of this patient data, these natural history data, being in different silos, meaning universities or investigative centers. And we wanted to consolidate that. So they put a big grant with an organization called the Critical Path Institute, based here in the United States. And with a collaboration with NORD, in Washington, they formed the Rare Disease Cures Accelerator Data Analytics Platform. The basic idea is you gather all this information of natural history, and then through the use of AI, we might be able to come up with a really good AI driven natural history model of our disease. So we are working with them. And yes, it is based in America, but our data is global. And to that end, the Critical Path Institute has made sure that the database is actually going to be maintained in the Netherlands. So it is fully compliant with the GDPR rules of, uh, of Europe. And they, in fact, just launched their first appeal with the European Rare Disease organizations there that Michael was talking about. So we are working to get our data. We approached uh, Biogen first, and we're hoping they still need to finish up their data. But last word, by the end of this month, we are supposed to be able to go back to them in order to get these. And this is depersonalized data. This is not your name and if you were involved with it. It's depersonalized data, meaning it all becomes a numeric code, and you cannot be identified, but your patient data can be there, and that's critical for us. So I just wanted to, with Michael's talk, I wanted to just reiterate how important it is that we get this patient information out there. So if anybody else wants to get involved, there's Rare Disease Week on Capitol Hill where we talk to the federal regulators. Beth and I have been there and talked at the NEI and the National Institutes of Health and advocates for the rare disease community. So if anybody is interested in going further with that, please let me know. I'm Eric Hartman at yourchm.org. Thanks.
You can go stand up.
Eric, I'm at the edge, Marty.
Good morning, everybody. Do I really need to say who I am? Anyway, so to kind of give you an overview of the various things I do and where we're going and where I'm going to want some of your help as well. Beth mentioned the webinar. Some of the other things we started doing during COVID is, of course, the mom support group. There was also a CHM or Convo that takes place the second Wednesday of every month. Lynn Ogg is our Johnny Carson. Whoops. As I sm- Oh, Thursdays. I'm sorry. I was thinking music trivia. That's on Wednesdays. That's another one. But anyways, yeah, second Thursday of every month. Lynn Ogg is the facilitator, and he is our Johnny Carson. I play his Ed Man. Um, so you're more than welcome to join us. I've been having thoughts, and Kathi, I'm throwing this out at you right now, of doing them, doing another CHMR convo, but doing it in the afternoon. Unfortunately, Lynn would be working, but I'm looking for another co-host in the afternoon where we can pull in the European community and basically do the same thing, have a topic and discuss it and everything. But we'll talk more about that later. But if there's anybody who is watching or who wants to be a host of a monthly CHMR convo, get a hold of me. Um, we also have a music trivia night that we do every month. Um, and we also have every couple of months a blind beer tasting social event via Zoom as well. And so obviously everyone's more than welcome to join us on those. Book club also. You can talk to Beth about that. And I've also started last year I started a series of Meet a CHM family member, which are basically just sit down one on one. I don't even call them interviews. I would call it more of a structure, just a chat. Those are up on our YouTube channel. If you are interested in being a subject of Meet a CHM family member, let me know, and we'll hook something else. You know, hook something up. I've also started doing Meet a CHM Researcher series as well. I've interviewed Dr. Mack, Dr. Bennett, and Dr. Ciabra at this point, and yes, some of the researchers in the room, you're on my list. Just letting you know. Uh, I'll be getting in touch with you eventually. Also, I help with Kathi and I. We kind of tag team both individual and larger team event fundraising with helping people to coordinate, implement, and promote fundraising events. Kathi kind of handles the bigger stuff like the New York City Marathon and things like that. But there are other people that are doing 5Ks, 10Ks, doing birthday party events, bake sales, things like that. Fundraising, and I know it's everybody kind of fundraising. I'm going to tell you how easy this is. Okay, raise your hand if you have a birthday. Okay, Facebook makes it easy to do a birthday fundraising event. Now you may raise $100, you may raise $150. Okay, and you may think, oh, that's not a lot of money. All right. However, we got almost 200 people in this room. Multiply that, and it makes a large amount. Okay. Now, I may not get 100% hands on this. How many people shop on Amazon? Okay. Amazon has a little program called Amazon Smile, smile.amazon.com. You go in there, you search for Choroideremia Research Foundation, you sign up. At that point, every time you shop on Amazon, we get money. And it's not even money out of your pocket. That is Amazon giving us money. It is that easy to fundraise. Tell all your friends, tell all your family. Smile.amazon.com. So that's the fundraising aspect. Outreach aspect. Eric mentioned there's 6,000 CHMers in this country. We're a rare disease. We've been around now for 22 years. Anyone have any idea of how many CHMers in the United States that we're in contact with at this point? Out of those 6,000 plus, about 400. There's a lot of us still out there that we want to contact, that we need to contact and bring into the fold. One of the ways we are doing this, and I'll bet you most people in this room, if you look back in your family trees and find the first person who was diagnosed in your family, many times they're diagnosed with RP, and it's our strong contention that RP. Well, we did a little poll in the Facebook support group, and 70% of the respondents, it was an RP diagnosis. That's how rampant that is. So one of the things that we do as an organization, and this is where you guys again come in. We host informational booths at various eye doctor conventions: American Academy of Optometry, American Academy of Ophthalmology, American Society of Retinal Specialists, things like that. And in conversations with Kathy, we want to kind of expand and hit more of these conventions and get the word out, not only about the foundation existing, but we have information showing the difference between choroideremia and RP. And this is information that needs to get into the hands of the doctors. The crew, quote unquote, the crew that has, historically done these conventions has been Jason McKinney and myself, Bob Pettipaw, his wife Paige, Tom Driscoll, uh, our roving man on the move at the conventions. He likes to run around the vendor area. But here's the thing: a lot of these conventions are back to back to back to back. We need more people. If you're interested in being being able to go to conventions and man a booth, Tom and Jason and I are going to be sitting down soon and actually putting together a training uh, regimen for people: what to say, what to do. We'll provide you with the materials. We just need bodies. We're going to need help because we can't do it all ourselves. Uh, so that is where you come in. Again, contact me. info@purechm.org. I see those same emails. And getting back to fundraising for a minute, I know, Jess, are you around? Oh, he left. Okay, he wanted to talk about, he has Team CHM. Not just, we have the T-shirts, obviously, but like specific running gear for people who are doing triathlons, marathons, that kind of thing. Uh, he has access to that. See him. And again, going back to fundraising, Tom Driscoll, where are you now? Close to $3,500. A fundraising page he built at the conference a couple of days ago. Yeah, he put pictures of his wife and his kids on it, so it's much more appealing. And people are donating. So that's about where I am. And again, always available: phone call, email, however you want to contact me. If you need information, if you need support, if you need to contact somebody else, let me know. I'm here. Thank you.
Okay, and we now have one non-staff person, but a volunteer who works as much as staff. So we have Ed Hoffman, who is the chair of our Publications and Communications Committee, and he's been doing an amazing job this year. And I wanted him to have the opportunity to tell you about all the great work that he's been doing.
Yeah, Corey means it when he says that he needs people coming to these events. He basically told me I was going to San Diego in October since it's close. So I will be joining them in the Academy. Is that the one that Rachel? Yeah. So anyway, it's nice to have met so many people these past couple of days. This is my first conference. Mine and my husband are here, and it's been really, really wonderful to be with so many people that are like me. People. So I want to talk a little bit about what we're doing with the Publications and Communications Committee. I am representing one of 9 people, so this is by no means solo effort here. Several of them are here in the audience, including Todd and Brian and Jeanette. And then Nama Goldman in Israel, she is also on the committee as well. So we just want to make sure that I'm thanking all of our committee members. And I think I may have a 10th one. I'm pretty sure my car committed last night at the bar at about 11:30. So we're going to be talking this summer. Oh, Jesus, sorry. Yes. So anyway, so I think we may be at 10. So what we're doing on our committee is that we basically have 3 objectives. The first one is to build awareness among all of our different stakeholders or target audiences, use marketing speak. And that's basically the scientists, clinicians, those that are involved in adaptive technology, and of course, and equally as importantly, CHMers and their families. As Corey mentioned, we're only reaching about 400 out of 6,000. So there's certainly more work to do, and that's where communications comes into play. The other part of it is to drive. The other part of what we're doing is really trying to drive engagement with the membership. So whether that be going to the website, checking out resources, whether that be um, commenting and liking and sharing on our social channels, going to the webinars, any sort of way that we have, get people more involved and to take action is another one of our goals. And then, of course, increasing membership. So some of the things that we have focused on this past year, this past 12 months, is that our program is sort of, let me back up for a moment. Our program is really divided into kind of three areas. One is media relations and doing press release distribution. Another area is around community engagement, and that's a big bucket that includes a number of things. And the third area is really supporting other kind of groups or committees within CRF. So, for example, fundraising. We do a lot of outreach around Giving Tuesday in November, as well as the holidays and the holiday and kind of year end. Those are some big areas there. So wherever else that our committee can help raise awareness, that's what we're here to do. So some of the things we've accomplished in the past year, we send a press release out on average. It's about 1.5 press releases every month. So we had 14 that have gone out this past year. I want to give a huge thank you to Nama. I hope that she's listening. If you are not part of the WhatsApp group, I think it's been a game changer for engagement. It's allowed us to just, I think, connect in a more real time basis as we were talking about before, like my phone is blowing up. I have to figure out how to turn off the notification and go to it when I want to. But it's also allowed us to connect with people internationally. And then, and as we've heard today, even your book conference, but certainly today, that's such a big part of what we're doing as an organization. So again, that's a big thank you to Nama. Also, she and her husband have sort of taken over or wrestled away our Twitter channel, and it wasn't much of a fight because we weren't doing a whole lot with Twitter, and they've been really active and really just kind of sharing our news into that community, and also really trying to connect with other people. So again, that's a really big thank you to Nama and her husband for participating and doing that. We've also done a few other kind of things. We've refreshed a brochure. We refreshed our website. We we didn't have a big budget for that, but we wanted to refresh some of the content, streamline some of it. My big request was we have less eyeballs on the website and maybe people. Like it's not just about eyeballs and looking at our IDs. So we kind of refreshed it with new imagery. Our social media, we have a part-time staff person, Reagan Devney, and that's one of her main responsibilities. Is sort of our community manager, and I hope if you're active on the channels, you've noticed just a huge improvement in terms of the frequency of content, the tone of it, and really just really trying to kind of again build community across our platform. So if you are on Facebook or LinkedIn or Twitter or Instagram, that's where we're living, and I really encourage you to sign up for that. Some of the things that we have, coming up, I would say, over the next 12 months, kind of look ahead. One big area is around what we can do with media relations. Um, this sort of started earlier this year, as Kathi said, we don't have a Wikipedia page. Like everybody, like how do we not have a Wikipedia page? And so we did make an attempt, and Todd kind of led that charge and has some experience with it. Our page went up, and then it came right back down. So apparently, it was not compliant by the wiki editors, and so now we are taking a more pragmatic approach and doing just a very short page to get us up there. But if you're not familiar with this, is one of the ways that Wikipedia pages are allowed to really thrive is earned media. And that is basically earned media means, a reporter writing about you. So that sort of kind of started this, kind of thinking around we need a more robust media relations strategy. We need to be doing more than what we're doing now. So right now we do a lot of media work to announce research awards. So it's been really great meeting and seeing so many of these researchers who I've been writing press releases about the past 2 years. Name, um, and so that's one area that we're really focusing on in this coming year is to expand what we're doing from a media standpoint to be able to do more consumer facing media. So we started actually with this conference. We've had a television crew that was here on our first day. Neil was interviewed. Yes, Neil was interviewed by them. John Oster was interviewed last Friday on another network. And then we also have another story that's going up on Channel One or Spectrum News here. And what we want to be able to do is to do more of this consumer-facing media coverage to build awareness for kind of who we are, but also to kind of help tell our story more broadly, and then what we can do with the media coverage itself. So that's one area, and we're really looking to do more human interest kinds of stories because that will get us, you know, those kinds of stories the media is interested in. Another real important area that Jess and I have talked kind of length about several conversations is how the communications committee can help support the research committee when new research is out and when it's published and when it is newsworthy. So there's a difference between some research that's published that's about building the body of evidence and research that actually has breakthrough. So Paul mentioned a paper coming out, which I feverishly took a note about, that Dr. McLaren is going to be publishing that potentially could be something that the news media would be interested in. And that's kind of where our committee comes in to help tell that story. I've actually personally done a lot of work in the nutrition research space on this, so the parallels are very familiar to me. So anyway, that's one. That's kind of a big push that we have moving forward to this year. It's just really kind of dial up what we're doing out. And then of course, we're going to be adding more content and refreshing our content from a social media standpoint. All these photos that everyone's uploading, please don't be surprised if you see them maybe repurposed on Instagram or on Facebook, as well as the photography. So, I don't know if anyone has any questions. If you do, please yell them out. I'm not going to see your hands. But if not, again, we don't make up stories. That's why PR people get bad names. Yeah. Yeah. And we're totally going to make up the stories. So, good. All right. Thank you.
All right. Is there anyone else that I had promised? Oh, is there anyone else I had promised an opportunity to speak before I begin my part? Because I think I'm the last speaker. So, and I appreciate everyone's patience. It's been a long day, a long 4 days actually. So, thanks for hanging in there. And, I just thought I would introduce myself because I haven't really had the chance to talk with many of you or all of you, but I'm Kathi Wagner. Again, I'm the executive director. I have been with CRF for 3 years. And I'm actually probably one of the people in the room, besides the researchers perhaps, that don't have any family members affected with choroideremia. My background is 30 years in nonprofit fundraising and management and in the rare disease space. I have worked for the International Dyslexia Association, the American Brain Tumor Association, the Cholangiocarcinoma Foundation, which is a rare bile duct cancer. And, through those opportunities, I have worked with industry, worked with medical professionals, worked with patient communities, all working to accelerate research funding, to find cures for those indications. And so certainly, here it's been a natural fit for me. There've been I see a lot of opportunities that we're going to continue striving on. I wanted just to provide you a brief update of some of the things that over the last few years we've been working on. I was brought on, actually, I'm the first full time and only full time employee of CRF. So we have 6 part timers, and many of them we all work remotely from our homes. And I'm in Tampa, Florida, formerly of Chicago. And My background initially was in fundraising, so that's really been my strength. But I've also transitioned now to leading some of the program activities. But in fundraising, just to give you an update as to where we are. So we last year, in the entire fiscal year, which is our July 1 through June 30, the year that ended last year, we raised $609,000, and this year already, and that's before conference proceeds, $626,000. So we are ahead of last year. Yes. And then that goes thanks to our many volunteers, because our primary source of income is donations, primarily from individuals who are fundraising and raising money on our behalf and reaching out to their friends and families and coworkers and neighbors. And it really helps to leverage our minimal staff capabilities, when you all help out. So thanks to everyone who has done that. And in fact, I wanted to name a few families in particular who've had significant fundraisers: the Holbrooks, Kazmierzeks, the Harps, Rumpels, the Theta Chi fraternity at Auburn University, the Driscoll family, the Loudenbachs, and all those who have run in the New York Marathon and participated in the $1 Million Bike Ride over the last year. So we really couldn't do it without all of you. And that also just goes to show in terms of the numbers of donations that we've had. Again, in the last fiscal year, we had 2,084 donors, and this year already, with a few weeks to go, we've had almost 3,000. So a significant increase. And again, that's thanks to all our fundraising donors. And I also want to just mention some of the other activities again. Cory had mentioned Amazon Smile, Facebook, but we also participate with Giving Tuesday, Rare Disease Day. We write grants, direct mail. We have a memorial and tribute program. We have sponsors, a recurring giving program, and of course the memberships as well. And many of you are members. We have 3 different membership levels. So we encourage your continued participation with all of those. Looking to 22 and 23, our next fiscal year, we have 40 runners in the New York City Marathon, which is amazing. Yes, it's incredible. And we will also be doing the MDBR, the $1 Million Bike Ride in Philadelphia again, which is both in person or virtual if you prefer bike riding rather than running. And we hope to get some other bibs at other major races. We've applied to Chicago. We'll be applying to Boston, Los Angeles, and others. But you're also welcome to do a local 5K and raise funds. And we can support you with a donation page. We'll provide you with some Team CMHGIM gear and the branding out there. Again, those make great media stories, as Ed mentioned. We do have uh, our database, just in terms of the size of where we're currently communicating. We have 16,000 people in our database. About 10,000 of those we have emails for. And just as a breakdown, we have about 3,400 vision professionals, which are MDs, PhDs, ODs, and other allied medical professionals. We have around 2,800 patients and family members. 500 pharmaceutical or industry representatives, 400 allied nonprofit organizations that we're going to look to continue partnering with, and about 10,000 donors. So, again, it takes a village, right, to do what we're doing here, and we appreciate your support. So, just as in terms of the program activities, one of the major initiatives that we've launched over the last year has been the International Choroideremia Research Network, which you may have heard a bit about. We now have 110 members from over 25 countries. And this has come about through researching the authors of medical papers that are published online. And then I reach out to them when I see their work published and ask if they'd like to have a conversation. And generally, they're very receptive to learning more and learning about what we do, and have offered to volunteer on this committee. And we have had to date 10 meetings of the ICRN. We had 2 general meetings and 8 subcommittee meetings, if you will. We have 4 working groups. One is on female carriers, another one on international data collection, a third on therapeutics or industry relations and collaborations, and also a pathophysiology working group. So, all of these groups, we hope to continue those meetings. We were able to have our very first meeting at Arvo in May, and we had about 30 attendees at that. And then we had our second in person meeting here at the conference. And so we hope to do some of more of those in person opportunities now that we are able to do so, and so grateful that we are able to do so. We are also working as a group with the ICRN on developing an animal and cell model inventories for CHM, because as you've heard throughout the conference, it's critical that we know where the resources are for researchers. So when they want to see if their research would work in CHM, they have the tools to do so. And so we're continuing to collect any knowledge and be that resource for researchers. We've also been working on international translations. As we mentioned, we have not only the Wordly program, but we've had a number of our ICRN members translate it's a PowerPoint that Dr. Ian MacDonald created a number of years ago that shows the differences between RP and CHM. And it's about 12 slides and about 8 minutes long. And now we have had that PowerPoint is being translated into 12 languages. Thanks to some of our ICRN members. We have it in Tamil, Kiswahili, Spanish, Chinese, Portuguese, Italian, French, Russian, and soon to come German, Hebrew, and Arabic. So we'll be able to reach out to the international community again to help them learn more about what the differences are and that we exist. And we do have Google Translate enabled on our website as well, so people can learn about this wherever they live in the world. And we have hopes that in 2023, as we have historically done, we've done the conference on even years, 22, 24, and then on the odd years, we've done a scientific symposium. So we do hope in 23, we will be holding an ICRN or scientific symposium. We don't know where yet or when, but there's been a lot of interest in doing that. So we look forward to that. We are also just in general, interested in as we are a virtual organization, we don't have a physical office space. So we really, rely on our internet presence. And so we've mentioned, we're beefing up our presence not only on social media, but on all the watchdog websites such as GuideStar and um, greatnonprofits.org and other presence like Nord and so forth, as you mentioned. Just trying to get as much, uh, our footprint, our digital footprint out there. So if there's places, your local medical institution, somewhere where we could get listed online and people can find us, just let us know and we'll do our best to do that. And I did the last comment. There's two things. So I did want to announce the winner of our photo contest. So we said we've had about 80 photos, I think, uploaded to the page. And so the winner of the photo contest is Stacy Smith. So, so Stacy, if you can come to the registration desk after, we can get you a T-shirt. So. Um, and I can't take credit to this. This is all Todd. But he had mentioned when we had a conversation yesterday that New York is known as the Excelsior State, the seal of New York, and the motto. And this the word Excelsior means continuous forward movement and upward excellence. And that's really, it's fitting that we were founded here, and that's where we're having our conference here because that is our goal. We're going to continue moving forward, continue pushing for progress, and continuing to strive for excellence, transparency, and to be good stewards of all that we do at the CRF. And so again, thank you all for coming, and we really appreciate your support. And if there's any questions regarding any of the international comments or the comments that our staff have had, please let me know. We can take questions if there's anything.